Salt. It's the one ingredient found in every kitchen on Earth, yet its story stretches back thousands of years and shaped the rise and fall of empires. Long before refrigerators existed, salt was the only way humans could preserve meat and fish, which made it one of the most valuable substances on the planet. Archaeologists believe humans began actively harvesting salt as early as 6,000 years before the Common Era, with some of the earliest evidence coming from China, where people boiled seawater in pottery vessels to extract salt crystals. Around the same period, in what is now Romania, ancient communities dug into salt-rich springs, making it one of the oldest known salt production sites in Europe. As civilizations grew, salt became more than just a way to preserve food. It became currency. Roman soldiers were sometimes paid in salt, and the word salary actually comes from the Latin word for salt payments given to Roman troops. Salt was so valuable that entire trade routes were built around it. One of the most famous was the Via Salaria, a road stretching across Italy, built specifically to transport salt from coastal salt pans into Rome. In Africa, salt was traded for gold, and in some regions, it was literally worth its weight in that precious metal. Caravans crossed the Sahara Desert carrying blocks of salt, mined from places like Taheza, exchanging them in West African kingdoms for gold dust. In China, the government eventually took control of salt production, turning it into a state monopoly that generated massive tax revenue for centuries. This control over salt was so powerful that it financed wars, funded the building of the Great Wall, and even sparked rebellions when taxes became too harsh. In India, salt held a different kind of power. Centuries later, it became a symbol of resistance when Mahatma Gandhi led the Salt March in 1930, walking nearly 400 kilometers to the sea to make salt by hand, defying British colonial law that taxed this basic necessity. That single act of peaceful protest became one of the most powerful symbols in the fight for Indian independence. Salt mining methods also evolved dramatically over the centuries. While early humans relied on evaporating seawater or boiling brine, later civilizations discovered vast underground deposits of rock salt, remnants of ancient seas that had dried up millions of years earlier. Some of these mines, like the Wieliczka salt mine in Poland, have been in continuous operation for over 700 years, and workers even carved entire chapels and sculptures out of the salt underground. The demand for salt also led to the creation of entire cities built purely around its trade. Places like Salzburg in Austria, whose very name means salt fortress, grew wealthy and powerful because of nearby salt mines. Wars were fought over salt deposits, taxes on salt sparked revolutions, and access to salt often determined which nations thrived and which struggled. It wasn't until the rise of modern refrigeration and industrial mining techniques in the 19th and 20th centuries that salt lost its status as a rare and precious commodity. Suddenly, something that had once started wars and built empires became cheap, abundant, and something we now barely think about when we reach for the salt shaker at dinner. Yet even today, salt remains essential to human survival. Our bodies cannot function without it, and every living creature that has ever existed has depended on it in some form. From ancient trade routes to modern chemistry, from currency to civil rights movements, the story of salt is really the story of human civilization itself, a tiny white crystal that quietly shaped history far more than most people ever realize.